and get your head right.
Oh, man. Thank you guys so much for bearing with me. Woo! Okay, so this is kind of like an off-scheduled Zoloft. Well, I don't really have a regular schedule as far as this. You know, I do it whenever I want. No, actually, I do it whenever I can. And as it's been, I've been doing them kind of regularly on Monday and Wednesday about 9:30. And you know I can't do them on YouTube, y'all. You know I can't have no fun here. So as it is, you know, here I am right now as to do a makeup. And one of the reasons why I can't do them on YouTube, you know, I can't do them on YouTube. Like people are, where have you been, man? It's like, I mean, you know me, I'd be like, well, where you been? On YouTube, YouTube keeps suspending my channel. And they don't even do it for new stuff that I put up. They go back and they dig through old stuff that I did and look for reasons to spam my channel. You guys know the story. Sorry to bore you guys with you guys who already know my struggle with this stuff. The struggle is real. You already know that sort of stuff. So, you know, sorry to keep, you know, rehashing it, but for people who don't or people who ask, like, you know, where you been, man? So, you know, that's why shadow banning is a real thing. All that to say, I've been using OBS to stream, you know, kind of got the hang of it over the past couple years or how long I've been using it. And then an update came in. It's like, okay, I'll go ahead and do the update. I had time to do the update and stuff like that. Did the update, and it was like, got to relaunch it, and went to go relaunch it, and it will not relaunch for nothing, right? And it's like, what the crap is that? I did everything, man. It's like, tried to get it to relaunch, man. Nothing worked. Unstalled it, reinstalled it, rebooted in safe mode, re-downloaded it in safe mode, all that sort of stuff, man. Went to the forums to find what is this issue. It's like this application can be open, and it only gave me an error 11. It just said 11, right? So it was like, okay, I can't, and nothing. Right, nothing could get this thing to open back up. So I'm trying Streamlab now, and I'm like wondering, is Streamlab are they affiliated with OBS or something? Is that Streamlab OBS? So OBS just seems to be called OBS, and so I don't know if Streamlab is. I could have researched it, so you can find that out for yourself, man. It's on the fly, man, trying to figure this out. I had to relearn Streamlab since last night, you know, so I can be on time for the Zopium Den tonight. Right, which I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it from YouTube or not. If I get this working and it works out okay, then I'll just go ahead and do it the way that I usually do and connect, you know, through Boxcast and send it over to Spreely, so it can go on the over-the-top platforms like I'm trying to build up right now. Like I said, man, you know, I know YouTube would be more feasible to do, but you know, YouTube pulls the rug out from under me, and as I get started doing on it, and they yank it up from under me, and I got to climb back up again, you know, so. It's a waste of time. But at any rate, OBS it farted out on me, and so I'm trying to Streamlab, and so far it seems pretty decent. It's, you know, a lot of it's familiar with OBS anyway. That's why I'm like even wondering, it's like, dude, is this like an affiliate of OBS? Because it looks so similar. It works, you know, the layout, everything looks the same. So I'm like, dang, man, is Streamlab gonna sock it to me too? But it was, you know, I just needed something that I could learn like really fast and something that it would play. So here I am. And thank you guys so much for, you know, for bearing with me, man, and still tuning in, and, you know, not just saying, oh man, Phooey on that Zoe, man, he's, you know, loser. Anyway, so let's go. Speaking of losers, let's go ahead and get on with the news that I was supposed to talk about last night. All right, so let's start with who I want to Kanye, man. Ooh, yo.
Before you get started, can you tell people where we've been?
Oh.
Reiterate.
Okay, so I can't do you for anybody who's like, you know, why aren't you on YouTube? I can't do YouTube. I'm shadow banned everywhere. Dang it, everywhere, right? And I know people be talking, well, I'm shadow banned too. It's like, I'm not trying to like, you know, be condescending or like, you know, it's like, but when you watch your audience drop from a projected of like what should have been like over 1 million page followers or subscribers even before 2020, and when you had like over 100,000 page followers like on Facebook 70,000, in YouTube, and it stays. Once it gets there, it stays there. It will not grow past that. Will not grow outside of that block. And when you do promote your work, those who've subscribed to you, only less than 1%. I'm talking 0.1%. 0.1% of your audience sees your work or gets a notification or anything like that. And then when it basically, when that was your livelihood, and then all of a sudden your livelihood gets ripped out from underneath you, and you're almost practically living in your car from going from being able to live, I guess, kind of like normally and average to all of a sudden you're practically living in your car. That's shadow banning. All right. So, people be talking about, so I've been shadow banned in my content. No, it's a shadow banning. It's a real career. Like I said, man, I don't mean to sound dismissive of anything, because a lot of people keep talking about shadow banning and they're like, I got put in Facebook jail, and they don't, that's not even their career. That's not even what they do for a living. It's like, no, this is what I do for a living. It's not like, and when people talk about, what you do for a living, it's like, no, I didn't go to like Facebook trade school or anything like that. And hey, this is my career. I'm a musician. I'm an entertainer. I am a content creator. This isn't something that I necessarily, did on an individual basis or independent basis. I've been with a publisher. I'm a published commentator with a publishing firm. So it's like this is something that I do as a career. That's my career. I was doing this, before these influencers, came out. So I've been doing this for a while. At any rate, y'all, where I've been is on my website. Instead of like trying to build up other platforms, that are shadow banning me anyway, even Rumble. Like people keep saying, go to Rumble. Go to Rumble is another place where I'm shadow banned. Even there, it doesn't matter where. Even on my website, it's hard for me to even be seen on my own website. But that's where I am. It's like, if I'm going to waste the time, or if I'm going to spend the time trying to build up, trying to get my content out there, instead of beating my head up against the wall trying to get promotion or promoting my work on Rumble or any place, YouTube or any other place or anything like that, man, I might as well just put that energy into my website. So that's where all my stuff is on my website. It's the hub for everything that I do. And I be trying to tell people, just come to my website. That's where all my stuff is. But people, I get it, man. It's people have a habit. This is the circuit of what they do, right? And it's like YouTube is like a habit. It's familiar to them, and that's just where they want to stay, and they don't want to, go to any place else. So I get that. But it breaks my brand. It's like, ain't no point in me doing it if the rug keeps getting pulled up from underneath me. At least on my website, it's like, so far my stuff. Wix can pull up the rug, they got it in there too. We don't like what it do. We can stop your stuff at any time. So far, praise be to God, I haven't had that issue. But
we're under the radar.
Yeah, on the radar, right?
So for everybody who's asking, where you been, you don't stream on YouTube anymore because you get, what is it called?
I get
account
suspended.
Gets suspended every 2 months. They're digging through your old videos and suspending you. So bronzeserpentmedia.com. Sign up there, become a member. It's free.
Yeah.
And we have our own thing going on over there.
Yeah.
Captain Spire was asking, folks I talk with about you and your career were wondering how you and Bill Whittle are doing. Something I've noticed is Bill Whittle's numbers plummeted when you joined his team. Once you guys started to do your own things again and you're not as visible on his YouTube channel, his numbers have gone back up.
Yeah.
He's fine.
And
I'm glad he's doing well.
Yeah, and I told Bill from the beginning, like, because he was like, look, man, I'm sorry I've been out of touch, and props to Bill, man, because Bill was, he's trying to build up his business, and he's like, I've been wanting to bring you aboard for a long time, man, but I didn't want to insult you. I didn't want to insult you and not offer you like this, salary to do it. And I was like, man, I just appreciate that you still think my voice is worth sharing with folks. Right.
Amen.
And he's like, well, that's cool, man. Well, let's start doing some stuff. And I told him, I said, but look, man, you have to know, if you bring me on, chances are it's going to affect your numbers. I'm just letting you know, and he's like, wait, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's just go ahead and get started. And for a minute, and it's like anything else, just like a couple of things that I've done, it's like it'll start off, boom, it's like big. And I don't know, whatever that algorithm or whichever is in it's noticeable, y'all. Yeah. It's noticeable. It'll start and then it just plummets. And I'm like, dude, it's either I really suck that bad, or or some algorithm or some program has made it to where it's like it just catches wind of me and it just sucks my numbers into a black hole. And I told Bill, it's like if I join in, man, it's probably gonna compromise your numbers, and it did, right? Yeah. It did. So and then now that and he was like, I think virtue signals kind of run its course, and he's like he pulled the plug on it. He didn't outright say it's because the numbers are going down. It's like he didn't have to. It's like, dude, I can see the numbers. I can see them. Right, but he would keep saying, it's like, dude, the people love you, right? You'd be surprised, the emails, the comments, like over at Bill Whittle comments, they love you there. But and people would say, man, don't be fooled by the numbers, man, don't be fooled by the numbers. Yeah. And I'm like, it's not that I'm fooled by the numbers, but when the thing is because they'll keep saying that the numbers aren't real, and I'm like. They're like, the low numbers, they're not real, man. People are hearing you. And I'm like, if the people are hearing us, then where is the support to reflect that? Because the money wasn't coming in, right? It was dwindling.
That's true.
And I get it that people are saying, look, man, you don't know what affected you. It's like, look, I appreciate all that, man. I really do. But when you got to pay that rent and people are saying, man, people are listening to you, it's okay, well, that's kind of not, it's not, and don't get me wrong, it's not all about the money. It's not about the money. But when you want to try to keep the lights on and the operation going, well, it is about the money to the people who are like facilitating this stuff, right? So that being said, it's like Bill's like, he's scratching his head. It's like, man, I don't know, man, the people love you, right? They want you there, but at the same time, the more you're here, the more the numbers go down.
Yeah. Right?
Now, he didn't have to say that. All he said was, I think virtue signal has run its course. That's all he said. And we didn't continue from there. All right? So, like I said, man, I just try to do my thing over at the website. I don't want to be a liability to anybody. That's one of the reasons why I'm kind of like a lone wolf, I don't want to say lone wolf, more like a lone bear. Right, and kind of like a wandering sheep of the Lord's pasture. It's like the Lord knows where I am. I'm just kind of like, in the world, I'm out there on alone. Like the Lord says, I send you out as sheep amidst wolves. So that's me. And so, like I said, I don't want to be a liability to anybody else. I just kind of operate on my own, man. And if people find me, they find me. If they want to stay tuned in, they stay tuned in and stuff like that. So, what's up?
Aircraft Sparky. Hello, brother. He said, who is working in big tech that may have some odd beef with you? That's a good question, Aircraft Sparky. Daily Wire wanted to hire Zoe when the shadow banning got really, really bad in 2016, 2017, right after Trump won. And they had their tech moguls, like the really, really smart guys who do this all day, every day. They crack codes, they look at algorithms. They tried to figure out what is going on with Zoe in regards to Google and YouTube and everything Alphabet owns and all the other social media platforms, and they could not find it. They can see that something is there, but they can't crack it.
Yeah. I was vetted, courted by Daily Wire, and really at the end of the day, it was like I would I don't even want to say that I would be a liability, because they didn't want to use that language either, because they were offering me a job. But like a part of it was, they looked like they were willing to take that risk. They wanted me to do a daily, show, and I didn't want to live for the politics, y'all. Because once you do that, and you notice how we keep getting disappointed with a lot of people who live for this stuff. They're just trying to stay on top of the political game and just trying to stay relevant and whatnot. And these people are disappointing people a lot. Okay. And I didn't want to be one of those people. Sure, it could have made me a lot of money. It gave me a lot of notoriety and stuff like that. But, you know, like I said, at the same time, they know that they were willing to take the risk on not being able to promote it. I've been on Daily Wire a few times. I've been on Clavin. I've been on the backstage shows on there. I've been on the Michael Knowles show and stuff like that. And you know, and people don't even know. There's like, because I get people ask me a lot of times, say, "Hey man, how come you don't go on Daily Wire?" I said, "I've been on Daily Wire. I've been on there a few times." People don't know. And the funny thing is that, like, say for instance, even with the backstage interview with, or the backstage, I guess the lounge or whichever, that got like over 1 million views, right? That one went viral too. And I was on there. Still, people are like, "Hey, how come you haven't been on Daily? How come you don't go on Daily Wire?" It's like, I've been on Daily Wire. It's like people asking, "How come you don't go on Crowder?" It's like, I've been on Crowder, right? On the show, right? That sound dirty. How come you haven't been on Crowder? If I have, it's for ground and pound. He's not gonna hear that, is he? Anyway, but yeah, it's anyway, y'all. That's what's going on with that. You know, the shadow banning is really bad. You know, and like I said, even with this video, I'm just doing it because, you know, I'm trying to make up a video but I may have to pull this down. But I don't know. It doesn't even matter. YouTube doesn't wait for me to put up new videos. They go back, they'll dig back a few years and look for stuff, say, "Oh, this video is this and video is that," and they'll suspend my account. So, you know, it doesn't matter. But like I said, I'm just trying to let folks know why I hadn't streamed yesterday, and I'm just coming on here because it reaches more people. The drawback is I can get suspended. You know, at least on my website, it's like, you know, not as many people see it, but I have to worry less about my channel getting yanked up from underneath me.
Right.
You know, so that's the trade-off. Anyway, Kanye. Kanye has. Oh, and it's to the question, who has this beef with me? Man, I don't know. You know, it's big tech, man. It's shadow banning. You know, it's shadow banning means that there's somebody in the shadows who's able to affect. You know, and you know, when you think about how petulant people can be.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, who would pick on little old me? I'm supposed to be what they like. I'm this black guy who's the little guy. Yeah. Why are they picking on me? I thought Black Lives Mattered and all that sort of stuff, you know, but not this one. You know, no, they came in and beat on me pretty bad, you know, as far as my career goes. So I don't know who it is, you know, but it's evident, you know, I mean, you know, just like we got a shadow government, we've got shadow big tech. Amen. Just like you got people out there who just have a bone to pick with somebody. I mean, just like, look at what's her name? Letitia, what is it?
Letitia James.
Letitia James. Look at her. Look at the bone she has to pick with Trump. I mean, she's going all out, right? Just some people just have, why? For flipping what?
It's insane.
But some people just have this insane beef with somebody and just want to harass them. That's just some people are like that. Some people just get a kick out, and some people have a bigger scale to do it with.
Yep.
You know, like when you see people like just some loser, man, who's just in there, wherever they are, just trolling people, you know, and just want to come to your channel and just troll you and just leave it. Well, that's a person who's able to do that on their scale. And there may be people who hate what I do on a larger scale. And they probably work in the inner workings of the internet and just know my stuff and are just able to screw with me, you know, on a larger scale. Heck, man, I was out busking the other night. I was, you know, outside, you know, it was nice, you know, weather, man. I said, I'll go out and I'll sit on the corner, man, and I'll play some guitar, you know, and whatnot. And a couple of some people like drove by in their truck, leaning out of their truck, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you." You know, I'm like, well, thanks.
Wow.
I didn't even play you a song, but thank you. But some people just, that they've got nothing better to do than try to make you as miserable as they are. You know, and so somebody's probably got a beef with me who's in a big tech capacity to make sure that my work is not seen.
Yeah.
There's people do that, man. People do that. Hey, you know, there's a reason why the Democrats are called the Invisible Empire. If they want to make you invisible and harass you and whichever and get away with it as if nobody can see what they're doing and don't even care, they don't even have to care. It's practically like they're invisible. People just look the other way.
Yeah.
Or look at you like you're the bad guy who deserved it. And the invisible empire just gets away with doing whatever they want. It's the way it is, man.
Yep.
You know, all we can do is just try to keep on going and trust in the Lord that, hey, he's going to vindicate us in a really big way, right? Even bigger than the harassment that they've tried to inflict on us, right? So I trust in his vindication. I'm like, hey, man, it doesn't mean that we don't keep on working. We got our marching order, keep on going. Doesn't mean that we can't, you know, that we're not making an effect. You know, but a lot of people, they lose sight of what it is that we're supposed to be doing. And that leads me into talking about Kanye right now. Just to give you guys an example, because Kanye, man, this dude is weak. Oh my goodness, this guy he's so weak, man. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. So, and actually, I digress. Maybe Kanye is saying something different, but saying it quite poorly. Okay, it's like this. Kanye, he says he has issues with Jesus because he didn't give him everything he prayed for. Okay, actually, right there, that sums it up. What I was going to try to give Kanye the benefit of the doubt in saying that, look, man, prayer alone is not what does it. You have to take action. You got to put your faith to work. All right? And you got to put your faith to work, and you can't work without faith. It doesn't work that way. There's a formula. All right? And the word of God tells us this. You can't just be like faith. It's like that one joke, man. It's like that dude who's he's in the middle of a river, right? And he's waiting, like the dam broke or something like that. And he's got this like a little piece of a plateau that he could stand on. And he's waiting for a rescue, right? And he's praying, oh Lord, rescue me from this plight that I'm in, right? And a boat, you know, comes by, and it's like, hey, get in the boat, man. And the dude's like, no, I'm trusting that the hand of God is gonna come and reach down and pull me out of this, you know, plight that I'm in. And so the boat drives off, and then a helicopter comes and say, hey man, get on the ladder, we're gonna lift you out of this. And he's like, no, I'm waiting for the hand of God to come and reach me down and gonna pull me out of my plight. And so, well, the dude drowns. All right, the floodwaters came up, knocked him off there, and he drowns, right? And so when he's at the pearly gates or whichever, you know, he's like, Lord, what happened? Why didn't you answer my prayers? Why didn't you save me? And God's like, man, I sent you a boat. I sent you a helicopter. It's like, man, you know, so all that to say, Kanye is right here. I guess if he says he has issues with Jesus because he didn't give him everything he prayed for. All right. And so I was going to give Kanye the benefit of the doubt and say, man, you can't just pray. You got to take action, which is correct. But that's not what he's saying. Kanye is saying, man, prayer isn't what does it. Kanye does it. Yeah. Kanye, I had to go and do. I had to get myself out of this. I had to do that. And I had to do this and I had to do that. Right? Kanye is like, Kanye has no business. He's like the Pope speaking ex cathedra. All right? The Pope be going off script, and it's like, no, Pope, you need to keep to the script. As a matter of fact, if you kept to the script, you wouldn't be Pope. You wouldn't even try to be Pope. All right? You wouldn't be trying to be the head of some religion or assume to be the vicar of Christ or anything like that by trying to speak ex cathedra or basically speaking off script. Right? You coming up with your own opinions that are not God breathed. So Kanye is the same way. You know, he wants to go out there talking like, you know, making like he's this Christian and he's a follower of God and Jesus walks and all that sort of stuff. And it's a deception. It's a total deception. So he's talking about how Kanye had to get out there and do it. Well, yeah, we all do. No matter how much you pray all day, you still got to do. But that's putting your faith to work. You can't just have faith to be like, oh, God's going to take care of this and God's going to take care of this. No, you got to work. But when you work and you do what you got to do it with the faith in the Lord. You got to do it as if you are, not as if, you got to do it as the directive. The directive is to be fruitful in ordinance of the Lord because he told us to. And you do it understanding that the Lord is your general. and you are doing this in service to him. You have to walk in faith. You got to work in faith. Those two go together. Well, Kanye is separating the two. He's taking his prayer and putting it in the back seat or the trunk or wherever, and he's out there saying Kanye does this. And then it has at the spoiler alert at the end of it, he says, and look where I am now. Okay, let's examine that. And I reckon Kanye is never going to hear this, even though he really should. Kanye, you say that you prayed to the Lord, all right? And you say that the Lord didn't do this and didn't do that. Okay. The Lord doesn't answer to you, Kanye. This is like those other so-called woke preachers that are saying God worships us. We'll get to that in a little bit. But it's not about God listening to you, Kanye. It's about you listening to him, which you don't. Okay? And we receive our orders from him. And his timing is what we lean on, not our ideas of when God is supposed to jump when we say jump. Wow, man, you're really full of yourself. Okay, so you say, look where you are now. Wow, man. Yeah, exactly. Look where you are at. Look where you are now. You know what that tells me? You know what that tells me, Kanye? It tells me that God did answer your prayers. He did answer you. Okay, you have to admit that, but you think that you did that on your own. It's like, no, you said that you prayed. You prayed, right? You prayed. And you're too arrogant and too shallow to realize that your prayers have been answered with gusto. You got the dream career. You've got finances more than people could ever even dream about. You got the woman that you wanted, that you totally took for granted. You're an ingrate and you can't even see what you got. The Lord did answer you. He not only did he answer you, dude, he lavished over you. You have more than a lot, and you think that you work so hard at it. Man, there's people who work harder and are way more talented than you are. Way more talented, who work harder than what you do. Okay? Who will go unsung. Who will never get the notoriety that you have and work just as hard as you do. But you, God has shown, right? And God has his reasons for doing this. Okay? God has his reason. And this is spelled out in the Bible. It's spelled out in the Word of God. People like you who will enjoy receiving these things from the Lord. And you will demonstrate. You will be fully demonstrative of how you will take it for granted and how ungrateful you will be and how you will turn to idols, that you will give the finger to God and you will turn to idols, even if that idol is yourself, and not even realize that God has more than answered you. And you took what he gave you and you spit on him, just like those who spit on Jesus when he died for their sins. Gave them the promise written in blood for eternal life. That's you, the same who would spit on him after he bled for you. So, Kanye, I hope you receive the Lord's peace and truth, but as it is right now, you're a pathetic weakling. All right, so enough about Kanye. How about this one? Mike Pence. Oh man, I noticed you got. It's like, ooh, if I can get a hold of that Mike Pence. Mm. All right, so let's see. To get down to the nitty gritty of it, and I just like anything else, y'all, I'd like to hear you guys' take on this, and I hope I don't step on any toes here, but I might, because brace myself. Okay. Former Mike Pence says it's unacceptable for President Trump to refer to January 6 defendants as hostages. Okay, y'all. Brace myself for the hit because I kind of agree with Mike Pence. Yeah, I kind of agree with him. Oh boy. I don't agree with Trump on this. I can't say that I agree, and help me out, y'all. Help me out because I'm not married to this, y'all. I'm just asking. Just put this out there. I don't agree that the January 6 detainees are hostages. the reason why I don't think this is the right language, because if it is, has Donald Trump been sent a ransom note? Has there been an offer made for their release? Are they being held with the expectation of something? And if they receive this expectation, will they be set free? Is there a trade that needs to be made? So if they were hostages, well, Trump, you might have enough money to pay that ransom. But he hasn't mentioned that. And hopefully, and maybe he should have done that before Letitia James gets done with him, because she's coming after that money. She's already put in an order to seize his assets. Right? And y'all, like I said, Trump is still president, y'all. He's still president. All this nonsense is going on under his watch. And we want him to be president again. Y'all, he doesn't seem to be very effective at defending the country. He hasn't been effective. He made this, did he help get this economy going? Yes. Could he defend it? No. Jobs? Yes. Defending it? No. Right? COVID, he helped to finance. Like I said before, the Democrats were more effective at getting Donald Trump to get taxpayers to pay for to warp speed the vaccine than Trump was able to get Mexico to pay for the wall. All right? This stuff is going on under Trump's watch right now. He's still president right now. Biden is illegitimate. He stole the White House. This buffoon stole the White House from Trump. All right? All that to say, y'all, and this, we still got this legal issue going that a whole bunch of Republicans were led into, that Democrats orchestrated, that led to what we now know as January 6th. And we got people detained. And there's no offer, there's no ransom demand for their release. So to call them hostages, I think, is a misnomer. Am I being too legalistic, y'all, about the term hostage? Or is Donald Trump being too frivolous with the term hostage? What is true is that they are detainees, and their detainees denied habeas corpus. You know that stuff that a lot of Republicans have been suckered into believing that Lincoln did, which he didn't do? Well, actually he did, but he was constitutionally within his rights to, because the Constitution lays out the guidelines for suspension of habeas corpus against rebels, people who declared themselves as rebels, proudly, right? So according to the Constitution, you exhibit this rebellious behavior, habeas corpus will be suspended for you. Lincoln did that constitutionally. Joe Biden did not. But I ain't heard one. I have not heard one conservative commentator or anything like that use the terms habeas corpus, suspension of habeas corpus, and Joe Biden in the same sentence. You will hear more Republicans accuse Lincoln of that before they accuse Joe Biden of that. That's why we lose, y'all. The Republican Party, man, the mainstream Republican Party, I'm telling you, man. You know, and Trump can say stuff like this, that they're hostages, and then, yeah, MAGA, and they agree all the way. It's like, dude, it's a misnomer, man. I don't think that's appropriate usage of terms. You know, but there you go. Let's see.
Tom Jensen says, some have been held without being charged, I have heard. Yes, quite a few, Tom, and they are going through living hells. And then when some of them are charged, they get insane sentences, outlandish sentences. Yeah. And they drain all of their resources, have nothing left after they've fought the legal battle. So. Yeah.
You know, and that's where we're at. And so, like I said, to get them out of this, what would it take to get them out? If it took something to get them out to make the trade-off, then you would have a hostage situation. I don't think we have that.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, is this, what's the word I'm looking for? Now, the Democrats, as far as I'm concerned, are a terrorist organization. And I can understand, it's like, okay, well, we don't negotiate with terrorists. So even if they did demand a ransom, that's where Trump could be like, look, man, you know, no, we're not going to negotiate with you. But, you know, Trump himself I don't even know if Trump understands that he's still president.
No.
You know, the Democrats are so effective with what it is that they're doing, y'all. They're making a person who's president run for president again and not even as an incumbent. They kicked him out of the White House, and he's like, he has to run again, and they're trying to keep him from running again. You know, I'm sorry, y'all. How effective how is it that the MAGA voters, and like I said, man, I voted for Trump twice, and I prefer him than this Yahoo that we got right now. But y'all, for real, how is it that these people think that Trump would be so effective at defending the country when it's proven, it's right there in front of you that he's not?
Yeah.
He is not. But people think that what it is to have a great country is to have a good economy and good jobs, you know, strong military, right? And I'm like, okay, well, the economy sucks. The job market sucks. The military is going gay. You know, so, I mean, none of these things that folks think that that constitutes a strong, great America has surfaced.
Yeah.
With Trump being president, and he's still president. Okay.
We did have all those things under Trump: a better military, a stronger military, a stronger economy, a stronger country. Everybody was kind of buzzing along, you know, living their lives, no big, huge worries, and they threw a pandemic at us. So.
Well, okay. No. Okay, a strong economy, a strong job market, a strong military. Y'all, that's what it looked like on the surface. It looked like that on the surface. And how long have I been saying to y'all? That's why I keep saying it. None of this stuff is substantial if you do not have the number one, the spiritual foundation, which ain't there. Well, actually, it is, but it's not a Holy Spirit foundation. Then the culture. Then the politics and all the things that are going to facilitate our governmental discourse, right? Well, how so we had a stronger military under Donald Trump, right? So we had a stronger military and maybe more morale in the law enforcement and stuff like that. If that military was so strong, then why did the military sit by and let Trump get kicked out of the White House and basically escorted the rebel into the White House? Does that sound like a strong military to you? Sorry, man. You know, that's not the makings of a strong military. Biden, whatever buffoon that he thinks he is, was able to go into the White House with military guard. The military, the government's supposed to protect us from enemies, both foreign and domestic, and the domestic enemy took the country, took the White House. Okay, so when people out there, we had a stronger military, where's the evidence of that right now? All right, so that military, you know, you had a bunch of civilians, whether they were MAGA civilians or whether they were plants, you know, or whatnot. You have civilians taking action to stop this from happening, but the military didn't. You know, so you know, we got, and don't get me wrong, man, because we got folks, you know, who are real patriots in the military, and unfortunately, it takes only a few. You know, it takes a few that can do a lot of damage. The yeast gets in there, man. It spreads really fast. And before you know it, it's like you feel like your hands are tied. What can you do? You know? So if our, you know, we talk about how strong our military is right now. Like I said, we got people that are being detained, you know, since January 6th. And, you know, Donald Trump, you know, could have been like, hey, I'm sending the military in there right now. I'm still president. I'm still president. I'm sending the military in there right now to get those people out. They're being held by a domestic enemy. They're being held by an American-based terrorist organization. I shouldn't even say American-based, you know, but, you know, a terrorist organization of a fraternity of American citizens.
Yeah.
You know, and we're going to get them out. But that hasn't been done. You know, so you got a lot of people in the military who may not really understand what our constitutional rights are.
I think that's a fact.
You know, and more than that, don't understand what our God-given rights are, and are operating at the behest of this fake commander, this counterfeit commander-in-chief.
And their own feelings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Speaking to Gen Z.
Yeah.
If Donald Trump was to have done that, or would do that, just say, I am still the president, wouldn't we have an immediate civil war on our hands?
If Donald Trump was to, well, I guess it depends on what he would say following that. I'm still president, and this is the actions that we're going to take. I mean, because for real, y'all, the thing is, this is like a reversal. We're like in a reverse civil war, right? You had Lincoln and you had Davis. Okay, now it's switched around where the Confederacy has taken the White House. You got the Democrats who have taken the White House, and the Union has been kicked out, right? So, but Donald Trump, instead of campaigning to run for president again, he should be making the case like, you know what? I'm still president. And he should flat out say, you know, I lost sight of that. I lost sight that I am still president. And under my watch, this has happened because I lost sight of my office, my legitimate office. Well, you know what? I'm still president, and we're going to fix this stuff right now. You know what I'm saying? And for the forces, if there's forces in our military, in our law enforcement, who would be deployed to interfere with Trump carrying out his rightful duty as president, then don't y'all think that there should be forces also in the military and in law enforcement that be like, no, we know who the real president is, and we will mobilize. We will mobilize at his command. Right? So, I guess in effect, yeah, that would cause a civil war. Now, maybe Trump is just like, you know what? I don't want that, because I certainly don't want a civil war. But I'm tired of this death by 1,000 cuts too. I'm tired of that also. And I've said, it's like, look, man, I ain't looking to fight no civil war. The mainstream Republicans helped to get us into this mess. Yeah. I'm not looking to fight beside them. Because I've been trying to warn, it's like, dude, you don't want to do this. You're going about this the wrong way. And you're going to drag a lot of people into this, and people can end up getting hurt because of the knuckleheaded stuff that y'all are doing. I don't want to fight with these people, especially when you got a lot of Republican voters out there waving that Confederate flag. They're confused about who they are. They're waving the flag of the enemy. They're waving the flag of the Democrat Party. How am I supposed to know who I'm fighting with? They don't even know. Right? And you got a lot of them out there who did this, and a lot of people who screwed things up for us because of stuff like that. And Trump be pandering to them. And I'm like, dude, you don't know what you're doing. You have no clue. Right? So it's like, yeah, in that sense, it's like, you know what? No, dude, don't start a civil war, man, because it'll be a circular firing squad. These Republicans don't know. Right? The mainstream Republicans, they really don't know what it means. They don't know what it means to be a Republican. They really don't. You know? So I wouldn't feel confident, fighting with these people in a civil war. I'd probably actually be fighting against them more than as much as I would be the Democrats. You know? So, Let's see. What else we got here? What else can we mess with? Oh, man. How about this one? Before we get on up out of here. We got this so-called woke preacher, as I kind of alluded to earlier, talking about how God worships us. And hopefully I've got a little bit of a transcript here. I saw the video. I don't want to play this. And you guys, there's the link to it too. If you guys want to link to it, you guys can see this person that Paul would be disgusted with, this effeminate male or whatever. Let me see. And he's saying, and I guess the premise of it is, what if God worships me? Well, you don't have to ask that because he doesn't. The question is asked, what if God worships me? Followed by, and this guy, I guess they notice that he's an effeminate too. So based on, now he grabs like this word salad of scripture that you guys can listen to it if you like, if it intrigues you enough. I think he says, no. What I'm trying to see if there's something in the transcript that kind of gets to the nitty gritty of what he's talking about. Because I mean, look at the influence that these people have. So this goes out to a lot of people, and people sit in the church, they sit in the pews, man, and listen to this stuff. They don't get up and walk out.
Yep.
You know. Now for the work that the Lord has done, let me, I guess, try to play devil's advocate. And I don't think this person has gone into these sort of things. But let's talk about God creating man in his image. That's one of the things that he alludes to, and God creating man in his image. And when you break down the word image from the Hebrew, included in its meaning, it also refers to an idol. But it's really getting down to representation. So when God made man in his image, he made man to represent him in nature. God is the unseen. Okay? And long story short, God, the creator of the law of the universe, not only the law that basically, keeps the universe together in terms of physical laws and what like that, there's the moral law. Okay? The moral law is, though God is the author of it, God does not exempt himself from it. So the angels can't be like, we don't have to follow. If angels become rebellious, they have no excuse to, number one. But you do have angels that have become rebellious, and a big part of the reason why the angels have become rebellious in wanting their own truth is because God, who is the unseen, who is basically impervious to anything like that, they see God as someone who can exempt himself from the law. Do not impose laws of moralities on us that you, God yourself, cannot follow. You can't answer to the law. You put laws on us. You tell us how we supposed to behave. What about you? None of us like anybody who's above the law. Nobody likes anybody who's exempt from the law. Diplomatic immunity or whatever. We don't like it. And for good reason. Well, the angels are the same way. And you're going to have rebellious angels be like, we shouldn't have to follow the law if you don't. We want our own truth. Well, God was just like, hold my beer. Okay, you got a lot of people out there who like to teach that, God, he created man for fellowship and for a relationship with us. And yeah, that's true. But it's much, much, much deeper than that. God created man to represent him in nature, something that is tangible, something that is seen, something that could decay. All right. Adam didn't have to decay, but he had the potential to. All right. So God made Adam to represent him. And it's basically this: if Adam falls short of the law and shows disobedience, I will answer to, because he represents me. Okay? So when Adam transgressed and did what God told us, like, look, man, you do this, man, you will become like God. And as a matter of deduction, you should figure out, if you become like God, like me, that means that I'm going to have to become like you. Yeah. Now that you become a sinner that can die, I got to become like you. So I will descend through you. I will come through your descendant. I will become mortal. And I will answer to the law. And no angel and no human can ever accuse me of being a hypocrite who makes laws that I would not, should not, and could not follow. And I will bleed out my last to demonstrate that I will never impose a law on you that I would not follow myself. That's why Adam was created. Okay, so now that doesn't make Adam God's idol. All right, that doesn't make Adam that somebody that God worships. God doesn't worship us. Because of what God has done, he is the one worthy of our worship. Okay, God didn't do this so he could make man an idol. Okay, God did this because this is a cosmic court case. This is a universe-wide, beyond the universe-wide tribunal. is what's going on. As Paul has said, do you not know that we will judge the angels? We are God's jury, and we're going to be there to make sure that this judgment is going to be with witnesses. We will be the witnesses to declare that, yeah, angels, you had no excuse to rebel against God. God has demonstrated, okay, he has demonstrated that he is no hypocrite. He has demonstrated that he is sovereign and that he is worthy of worship. So this idea that God worships us, that he gave up this in idolatry for us, is totally backwards. That's not why man was made. Man wasn't made for God to idolize. Man is actually utility for God. Man is the utility of showing that God is no hypocrite, and God, the sovereign of the universe, is the perfect balance of humility and majesty. The perfect balance of it, right? And in his humility, he paid for our transgressions. And nobody can ever say that God exempts himself from the law. God never assumes to be above the law. Even the law that he writes, he will answer to every letter of it. All right, so to these so-called woke preachers, Phooey. All right, lastly, and we'll cut out on this one, we got Justice Jackson. Remember, I think that she the one who said, I'm not a biologist?
Correct.
She don't know what a woman is?
Yes.
She don't know what the First Amendment is either. Okay, this so-called Justice Jackson says First Amendment is hamstringing the government in effort. Wow. Okay, so, all right. Now, according to the Constitution, the only way a Supreme Court justice can be kicked off is for bad behavior, basically. They have to exhibit this bad behavior. Now, what could that mean, y'all? What could that mean? Could that, I think, like, say, for instance, I think the last time a Supreme Court judge got kicked off the bench was, I think he showed up for work, like, drunk, right? That was a while ago.
Wow.
You know, so, but now, let's see. What could, and y'all, I don't want to be too frivolous here with the intent of the founders, but when we talk about bad behavior, couldn't bad behavior be something to the effect of influencing people to do what's wrong? Like, say, for instance, I'm not a big fan of the Proud Boys, probably another place where I'm stepping on some toes and stuff like that. But, you know, looking into the Proud Boys, they're another part of why people have this twisted idea about Republicans. They're not helping. But what's his name? Was it Enrique?
Yeah, Enrique Tarrio.
Enrique Tarrio. Okay, so all that to say, isn't he's been given, like, what, 20 years?
Yeah, even 17, 18, 20 years, somewhere in there.
Yeah, all because he said, go get him, boys. Now, they took that as what? As him being inciting?
Yeah.
This is a bad influence. This is bad behavior, isn't it? Democrats would consider that bad behavior because, according to them, he's sending people out to do bad things.
Yes.
That's bad behavior. Okay, so now, if you have a Supreme Court justice who is asserting their opinion that this is legal, and people take that and run with it, isn't that bad behavior? Isn't it bad behavior to say that this is okay to do when it's really not? I think it is. So now, if you got Ketanji Jackson saying that the First Amendment is hamstringing the government when it's supposed to be a charter of negative rights, like, dude, this is what it's supposed to do. All right, the government can't just do whatever it wants. There's a boundary that they're not supposed to cross, just like anybody else. Nobody's supposed to do that. But the government's not supposed to have these special liberties to be able to do the things that the people aren't supposed to do also. Okay, so Ketanji talking about the First Amendment hamstringing the government. Well, if she's saying that and the government can just go ahead and do whatever they want, and encroach upon people's First Amendment rights, well, the Ketanji is exhibiting bad behavior because she's making it an influential policy. This is a policy of influence. This is a case of influence that she's wanting to put out there that has very bad effects. So I would say that that's bad behavior, and I would say that she should be impeached from her office. So this thing about the First Amendment is hamstringing the government in efforts to censor. And that's why, y'all, for a long time, I've said, with these social media platforms, people say you should sue. It's like, look, man, it's their business. They can shadow ban whomever they want. They can. I didn't pay for the service. They don't have to host me. I've always said that. Okay. I think it's very hypocritical, and I think it's contrary to their so-called narrative of, fairness and, free speech and, Black Lives Matter and all that sort of stuff. It's like, well, then you should allow whatever people want to say, within reason, not pornographic and inciting stuff. But even they can interpret inflammatory speech however they want to. True speech or what's not true speech, any way that they want to. So which means that they're actually acting as publishers, right? So we understand that narrative too. But here's the thing: if that's how they want to roll, it's their business. They can do whatever they want. But they're doing this at the behest of the government. That's the problem. So what the government is coming in, and you have a party that is having them either mask speech or twist speech or do whichever, and keeping people from saying what they got to say. This is an act of cronyism. Okay. Capitalism ain't got nothing to do with it, so it's not crony capitalism. Capitalism has nothing to do with it. It's just straight up cronyism, okay? And they have been weaponized by the Democrat Party, and in that sense, yes, this censorship, it is actual censorship. A private entity censoring people, that's not censorship according to the Constitution. They're not obliged to provide service to people who they don't want to. Okay, that's fine. They want to discriminate, that's okay. And the free market, if the free market's okay with it and they want to keep on giving it, well, the free market is spoken. All right? But the government is coming in and steering the boat on this. Now that is censorship. And these people have been weaponized by the government against people that, they disapprove of. All right, y'all. So that's my take on it. And I hope that you guys, got something useful out of it. And I hope that you tune in at bronzeserpentmedia.com. Y'all, if you're wondering where I've been, just become a member there and you can stay in tune with what I've been doing. I can't have no fun on YouTube. So, it's not really feasible to look for me here, but my website, man, that's where all my content is. All right, so I hope you guys come and check me out there. Drop a buck in the bucket if you want to help keep your bro Zoe on the go. I really appreciate it. We got to keep these lights on, y'all. And we trying to do our part. And we want to be more creative and get more elaborate productions out there. So I hope you guys, we need your prayers and support, and you guys keep on supporting. And like I said, if you guys want to drop some in the tip jar, man, we really, really appreciate it.
When do you stream?
I'll be on tonight, y'all. Look for me tonight. If I'm not here on YouTube streaming the Zopium Den tonight, which y'all really need to tune in for, I'll be at my website. So I'm still working out the bugs with this software, and I hope that I can make it work. Hopefully we will see you guys there in the Zopium Den. But I typically stream the Zoloft Monday and Wednesdays at 9:30. Right now, that's the time. If I can do it earlier, I'll do it earlier.